John, what surprises you more? That Zach Braff was able to raise over $2 million in 5 days on Kickstarter, or the backlash he's receiving for doing it?
I would say the backlash, because Zach Braff raising $2 million in 5 days on Kickstarter, that doesn't surprise me. You know, what's interesting is that, to me, people that I know have been saying for years, a couple years, like, we can't wait until bigger celebrities get involved because they'll bring a whole new audience into this and make people more comfortable and used to doing crowdfunding. And to me, that is my opinion on it. It's like, I don't really understand the backlash, actually. To me, it's like, to me, the backlash, I don't even understand the backlash, because, like, really, what does it hurt for someone like that to do this? You know, because it's like, oh, well, he has enough money to pay for it on his own. Well, why? You know, why should he, you know, why not engage your fans and give them ownership over what you're doing? I mean, I don't understand. It really baffles me, you know, why anyone would be opposed to this, because for the whole community, it's a good thing, because you're bringing more people into the Kickstarter community, just like Veronica Mars as well. And granted, those people are specifically those people's fans and aren't going to translate into other people. But once they get used to it, they might look around, you know, not everyone, but even if 10% of those people who never did a Kickstarter campaign or contributed to a Kickstarter campaign look around for other projects, you know, and if 10% of those people contribute, you know, that's a win. You know, I think, you know, what's ironic is that people complain about, oh, I'm sick of getting hounded for crowdfund campaigns. It's like the same group of people hounded over and over again. But by the same token, when these two campaigns come out that expand the reach of crowdfunding, everyone bitches and moans about it. And to me, you know, I have to say that, you know, being a filmmaker as well, I'll say filmmakers are a group of people who like to complain. You know, and that was the thing that always struck me about film school. What we would do is sit around the halls and complain about film school. You know, and then when you're out of film school, you complain about something else. And then it's something, and I think it goes to filmmakers being, and you have to be kind of critical to be a filmmaker. You have to be, to make a good film, you have to be critical of your own work. You know, you have to, there's something about that. And so, you know, maybe you can tell me what some of this, I mean, I've read some of the blogs, but they still seem so stupid to me, you know.
Some of the sentiment that I've heard is that, you know, Kickstarter and Indiegogo and platforms like that should be kind of for, quote, the people, that you're supposed to be an indie artist. And I get that, but then what, is there like a litmus test as to what, who's indie? Like, is there a threshold?
I mean, I would have to say that I think those are the indies, the indie people who are saying that Kickstarter and Indiegogo are for indie people. You know, it's like, you know, the people who think that indie stuff is only for indies are people who are complaining that they can't make a living. You know, and the way that you should function as an artist is to be as inclusive as possible as to who your audience is, and want to constantly expand that audience into people. Why wouldn't you? Why do you not want to engage more audience and expand your audience and to have other people possibly seeing what you do? And Zach Braff, again, it goes to the thing, it's like, to think that Zach Braff coming in and doing a Kickstarter is going to hurt you means that Kickstarter is a zero-sum game. And it's not a zero-sum game. It's not, you know, I don't know the statistical analogy of what the opposite of a zero-sum game is, so, but all I know is that by someone giving to Zach Braff doesn't mean that your small little project is going to get one less funding person. You know, it doesn't work like that. It's not this finite pool of money that, you know, this person has or this person has. What you have to do in crowdfunding is find your audience and encourage them to engage with you. And if you're not doing that, then you're not going to succeed. And Zach Braff has nothing to do with that. And there's your sound quote. I mean, there's your sound bite. That, and that's, I should write that down, you know, but Zach Braff has nothing to do whether you're engaging your audience effectively. You know, that's your problem, you know. And, you know, what I think is interesting is that, you know, I think more and more celebrities will do this for their pet projects. And I think that's a good thing. And I think filmmakers can learn from that and see, because a lot of what's crowdfunding is moving away from a merchandise platform to an experiential platform. And to me, in a sense, it's not, what's key in that is that it's a scarcity platform, in a sense that you're selling scarcity, and that in the world of digital, of a world of abundance, is what becomes valuable is what is scarce. And so certain kinds of merchandise are scarce, and you can make them scarce, and those have a chance of doing well so long as you are smart about making something that your audience wants. But you are also smart to create experiences. And who was I just talking to about their campaign? Yeah, I was talking to a filmmaker who was actually in the A2E Summit, so it was my pre-consultation with them. And they have a band involved in the film. And I think what's really interesting is that you can create these different levels of experiences, again, from the music model, and value those and allow consumers to engage at the level that they want to engage in or are able to engage in. And that, you'll have some really high-end rewards, a super VIP package that only certain people will be able to afford. But what crowdfunding allows you to do is to engage in those tiers. And so you can still create a smaller end package where someone can come to, get a standard VIP pass, come to a screening, go backstage, and meet the band for however long. But then you can do a super VIP package where they actually have dinner with the band and filmmakers before or after the screening. Why not? And I think these are all I think we're still in a kind of experimental mode of how this new form of engagement and financing and marketing is all going to work. And I don't think it's right for anyone to say some people can come to the party and others can't. What, you're going to see is when crowdfunding expands beyond art, and where when small businesses start using crowdfunding, and again, why not? The banks don't supply funding to small businesses, so, it'll be wise for small businesses to start up, any kind of business to start up and to use that. And they do it in Indiegogo all the time. Kickstarter is limited to art, but Indiegogo, you see all kinds of small businesses doing different things. And so what's the difference? Yeah, anyway, it's enough. I mean, the whole issue is, to me, it's a non-starter. It's just a bunch of people who want to complain.